we are here. We are all human beings and everybody matters. And folks, even though Officer Shelby has now been charged with manslaughter, that is the start of the process, not the finish of it. A process that can take months and a process that can take years. And here's the thing. When I look at the video of what happened to Terence Crutcher, I don't just see one officer acting badly. I see every officer acting badly. And I see them acting badly because here's what I see. I see 4 other officers who treated him like a piece of meat, who literally treated him worse than we treat somebody on a foreign battlefield. 2 veterans have told me since last Friday that when they were serving in Iraq as military police, if an Iraqi combatant would have done what Terence did and somebody would have shot him, they would have instantly gone to check him and render aid. We treated Terence Crutcher in this city worse than we would treat an enemy combatant on a foreign battlefield. Those 4 officers that happily watched him bleed to death in the street, having just witnessed him be the victim of a manslaughter, are still on the force, are unnamed, and are responsible right now for protecting this community. All right. Can we trust that? No! That's the pressure that's got to happen too. This is bigger than Officer Shelby. It's bigger than one person pulling a trigger. It's a matter of not just that decision, it's the decision to pull the gun in the first place. It's a decision that says, because this guy's black, he looks like one bad dude. Yeah. That's the decision that's the problem. And all we can do is come together. That means people who are black, white, any other color you can imagine. Period. I got music now. This is even better. There's nothing wrong with music. I talked to a lot of old folks who even marched with Dr. King back in the heyday of the civil rights movement. You know what they always told me? They said, we sang all the time. Because it reminded us of why we were there. It reminded us of the goal, right? And I'm not going to start singing. But here's all I'm going to say, folks. Being here makes the difference. Coming together comes the difference. But it's not just about today. It's what happens tomorrow and the next week and the next. This isn't just about one man. This is about literally a cemetery of hundreds of people nationwide. But it's also about something bigger than that. Right? It's about the ability to get along with some of the people who are most important to society. And that's police officers who are supposed to protect us. If we can't trust them, we got a big problem, and so do they. What's happening today is the first step of that. It's not going to fix it. Us coming together and marching isn't going to fix it, but it's a start. So for all of you, thank you so much for coming. And all I'm going to say is keep coming. Keep showing up. Because showing up makes the difference. Thank you so much.
It ever amazed you that here it is 2017, and we're facing some of the same challenges that we've been challenged with all of our lives. These situations that will not fix, change themselves. It's left up to each and every one of you that are here, those that you're in touch with, those you come in contact with. As Michael Jackson said, that man and that woman in the mirror, we all play a role in this. But understand what that challenge and who we're challenging. We're challenging an unjust, unequal, unfair system. They say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in high places. So we've got to hold these people accountable when they hold titles and positions, when they pass laws and policies that affect us on a negative basis. It's happening nationwide. We're right here in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, from 2007 to right now, we've had 162 killings by police officers. Out of that 162 killings, only 2 have been locked up. The numbers are not equal, not just, and unfair. When we look at it at the national level, when we look at 844 people killed by police officers, we're not anti-police. The first thing jump off at my house all crazy, we're going to call you. But when you show up, we expect justice. We expect respect. We expect to be treated in the manner that you would treat your own family. Here we can have bombers, bomb over here, bomb over there, and shoot people, and they on a stretcher going to the hospital. Here we got people going to the church, kill 8. He's at Burger King. We can't have our car break down and die in a matter of minutes and act like it's okay. It ain't never okay. Today, tomorrow, 100 years from now, it won't be okay. We've got to be able to respect us where we're at. If I'm having conversation or dialogue with you, and you're wrong, we got to be able to tell each other, you're wrong. And when you don't say that they're wrong, we're just as bad as they are. So we have got to hold people accountable in those positions that they hold, the DA, the justice system, and all of those that are participating in that process. We'll start with those that are killing. We're not anti-police. We're anti-murder. We're not anti-police. We're anti-injustice. We're not anti-police. We're anti-fairness. In other words, when we start having some fairness, some justice, some equality, then we won't have to do this. But right now, at the pace we're going now, as long as you live and breathe, you have got to challenge the system, because the system will not challenge itself. We got our kids, our grandkids, our own lives are on the line every day. Every time the police turn their light on, we're concerned. But we ain't pulling out our guns shooting nobody. If you're afraid, get off the force. If you're afraid, get off the force. I'm pulling my gun with 3 others with their gun, and I'm scared. Get off the force. They need to be locked up, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We have a charge right now, but we don't have a prosecution where she's been convicted. Stay tuned. It's not over. Don't you think it's over? The work still has to be done. And it's left up to us, each and every one of us, to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. That was again Garland Pruitt, NAACP President, OKC. Next, we will have the legal counsel for Black Lives Matter Oklahoma, Attorney David Slane.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you all for being here. It's hot. I'll be short. Let me say that from the perspective of a lawyer of 23 years, we have to all do better. We have to hold people accountable for what they do. And let me say this, we have to demand that police departments, not just in Tulsa, in Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma, but around the nation, we need a body cam on every policeman in America. And we need to make sure it's on and it's working at all times. We need to know that there's complete transparency. When those tapes are there, they need to be released to the public.
That's right. That's right.
And let me say this also. In this case, we see swift movement by the district attorney in charging manslaughter.
Go, Steve Curry.
Manslaughter carries 4 years to life in prison and is an 85% crime.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't know that. What we need with this is a component with aggressive and fair prosecution. That's what we need.
All right.
And we need justice from 12 people that's going to serve on that jury. Last, let me say this last. There's a reason why a white guy is a lawyer for Black Lives Matter. Because all of us got to stand up when we know the wrong. We have to stand up and speak out to any injustice there is. Dr. King said an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Last, let me say this. We need to hold these people accountable. So far, this police officer was in jail less than 30 minutes.
My Lord.
10 minutes. We need to make certain that the prosecutors do their job and we hold them accountable. So let me say this last and I'll be finished. We need to demand that on every police department there's a fair review board that reviews these incidents every time that's independent. I'm not talking about the police, investigate the police. And there needs to be citizens on those oversight boards. And I hope and I pray for justice in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney David Slane. Next, we're going to have some that have traveled all the way from Texas. We have Attorney Kim T. Cole from the Next Generation Action Network.
Okay.
out of here, so I will try to be brief. I'll try to be brief. I understand that everybody is frustrated. Are you tired of seeing these bodies in the video? With the process. Let your exasperation be your motivation. Don't let this stop here. Get involved with the process. Get out and get to the polls. If you are tired of seeing officers put on the force that are afraid, vote. Vote for your city council. Vote for your city managers. Vote for district attorneys. Because if you're tired of seeing district attorneys that don't prosecute dirty cops, get out and vote. Get out and become a part of the process. Be a part of the solution. Let me tell you, something happened yesterday in Dallas. Next Generation Action Network has been very active in Dallas for several years now. And we have collaborated with several other organizations in the Dallas area. And you didn't see this on the media because it's not controversial, but yesterday, Dallas Black Police Association held a press conference. This is over 600 black police officers, and they announced that they stand with the community and they are speaking out against police brutality. So let me tell you, get involved. Stay on Tulsa Police. Get involved and change this process yourselves because we have the power to do so. Get meetings with the police chief. Get meetings with your mayor. Get meetings with your city council. We've been very vocal in Dallas, not only just the Next Generation Action Network, but several other organizations as well. But we've been very vocal and we have stayed on them, and I'm telling you, things will change. Stay vigilant and don't stop fighting because no one is going to come in. The cavalry is not going to come in and save us.
All right.
We must do this ourselves, and we have the power to do so. And I totally appreciate Tulsa for praying instead of fighting.
Yes.
Let me tell you, violence is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. But let your vote be your weapon. Get out and get to the polls and get involved in this process because it works. If you stay vigilant, things will change, and hopefully Dallas can be a model, and hopefully more police associations will come together and stand with the people that they are hired to serve and say that Black Lives Matter. Not only do Black Lives Matter, we understand blue lives matter, white lives matter, brown lives matter, all lives matter. But for those cops who don't speak out, you're a part of the problem. So we ask them to join the movement, do like Dallas Black Police Association, and speak out against those dirty apples. Speak out. Speak out. And let's work to repair this relationship between the officers and the community that they serve. This is the core of police brutality. There is the relationship between the community and law enforcement has been destroyed. There's no trust on either end. You always hear them say, I'm afraid. The officers say they're afraid. Well, they have citizens living in fear. My brother's afraid to drive his car. This is a problem. So work toward repairing the relationships between law enforcement and the communities they serve, and it will make a difference. This will cease. We will stop seeing the videos online, but like I said, the media isn't going to cover the good news because we've had an impact. We've had an impact in Dallas, and that's why we're here in Tulsa, because we hope that Tulsa Police will follow Dallas's lead and accept some of the initiatives inspired by Dallas Black Police Association to work toward combating this epidemic of police brutality. Stay involved, stay vigilant.
Okay, did you all hear that she announced that the Dallas Police Department, the Black Police Association, is standing against police brutality? Did you hear that? When you hear information like that, that is epic. And that is something that we should have raised the roof. Because that means that we are making strides. Each one of you all that are out here today You are part of the revolution. You are part of the movement. And so we have to celebrate our successes much more than we have to highlight the tragedies that occur, because we're trying to reverse and get to the point to where we don't have to have rallies to honor and celebrate the life of a lost life or someone who has fallen to police brutality. Because community policing has come. I want you to thank the officers that do their jobs and do them well. We are all part of this movement.
Yes, indeed.
Our next person, we have people here from Memphis, Tennessee. We have the Operation Help Civil Rights Group, and speaking on their behalf is Brother Wendell Lee.
Yeah. Come on, brother. That's my brother. Yeah. That's my brother. That's your brother.
I'm the president of Operation Help Civil Rights Group. We're based out of Memphis. We travel all over the United States against police brutality, malicious prosecution. Like the lady was saying, the sister, that we need to organize and get this all over America.
Yeah.
Because what's happening here is happening all over America.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of cops. Right in Jones County, Mississippi, they had busted cops that was setting up a bunch of guys, pulling them over, just setting them up, throwing dope in their car. And when they bust these officers, they still didn't let the guys out of prison. So what I'm saying is, as we, okay, the other guy said that we need to continue.
Yes, sir.
You can't stop. You got to continue. And I'm going to tell you why. As I'm talking right now, they pulling somebody over. You got to keep on until you change. To throw your fists up. You got to show like you're mad, because I'm mad. When I say who's street, our street. Who's our street? Who's street? Who's street? Our street. So you work for us. I'm finished.
All right, thank you, Brother Lee. Now, one important thing that we have been emphasizing is if you are not exercising your right and your privilege to vote, you are doing your communities, your families, your state, and your nation a disservice.
All right.
We have those that are out here that are prepared to get you registered if you are not. That is one of the greatest actions of power that each of us over the age of 18 are able to do. The president, he told us, don't move, vote. So this is an action of protesting. We're going to have to vote some of these legislators that don't stand up on our behalf and write the legislation and are prepared to change the laws for us. We got to vote them out. We have Sean Brady here, who is running. Support us and rally for us. We need to get to the polls.
Somebody else in the Muslim community goes down. Somebody in the Native American community goes down. What I want everybody to pass on is that you're not just voting for a person. People and the ideas that we want to represent. So when they don't show up, anybody gets in there, and sometimes they're not thinking about us. Remember this phrase here. Who is not of the same race, and get them on your friends list. Find somebody else who doesn't look like you or have a different religion or a different sex or gender and get them on your friends list. Do not leave without getting somebody else on your friends list that you don't have. Now, I'm not, I've had some of my white friends say, well, Sean, I only got about 2 African Americans. Get better. Get them on your friends list right now, because you knowing them is going to help protect other lives that are not like you. So thank you very much. November 8th. You can look for me. I'm running as an independent candidate. I appreciate your time.
Oklahoma. State of Oklahoma. All right. Did you all get the message? Are you getting the message that we need you, that it is crucial to vote? Yes. I want you to continue that. I want you to tell your friends. I want you to take them to the polls. I want you to call and make sure that you're registered. If you're not able to travel, I want you to call and get your absentee ballots. There is no reason why you do not make the choice to exercise your power and your right to vote. Next, we have Grace Franklin from Oklahoma City, who is with OKC Artists for Justice.
No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. I'm going to make this real quick. My name is Grace Franklin. I'm bringing you greetings and love and support from the Turnpike, your cousins and your brothers and your sisters down in Oklahoma City. How y'all doing today? What I want to talk about today is we have to change the system of policing, how they are trained. We are out here today to remember the life of Terence Crutcher and all those who've lost their lives at the hands of police violence. But in Muskogee, Oklahoma, we witnessed something that is a part of policing, which was the abuse of Geneva Smith. When you pepper an 84-year-old woman, that means you don't see that grandmother as your grandmother. That woman was 84 years old, less than 120 pounds, and you pepper sprayed her because she didn't understand what was happening. You kicked in her door, you came in her house. She's 84 years old. So when you cannot respect somebody else because they don't remind you of your own people, we have a problem. She was perceived as a suspect. She's somebody's grandma. How's she going to be a suspect, unarmed and discombobulated and not understanding what's going on? In her own house. Now, you know in Oklahoma, we don't play in our own house. So what we have to do is change the way the police see us. Melanated people, black people, brown people, they have to be trained to not see us as big bad dudes, not see us as big bad women, not see us as a suspect and say, sit down, sit down. You're supposed to give my grandma a chair and let her have a seat in her house. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what you should do for anybody's grandmother. White, brown, black, that's what you do for elders. And you police, when you respect the community, you do it in a humane way. And that's what we have to talk about. So stay in the fight. It's not over. You got the trial going, a conviction, but we also have to talk to the police about how they see us and how we see them. If we're human beings, then treat us as such. If we're human beings, then treat us such. If we're human beings, then treat us as such. If we're human beings, treat us as such. If we're human beings, treat us as such. Y'all have a good day. I'm out.
That's Grace Franklin, OKC Artists for Justice. Next, we're going to have the president. Alexander, before he steps up, let me say, we have some other groups that are coming. They may be they may not agree with everything that we're saying. I'm going to ask you to maintain a peaceful environment. I'm going to ask you to not engage in any negative conversation. Let's keep the focus here. Remember why we're here, and remember the movement is happening. You are part of it, and we're going to continue to show that Oklahoma is going to set the standard. Minister Alexander.
Hello, how y'all doing today? We come here today, I come here to stand in with prayerful and mourning for the lives that were shed last year in 2015. There was over 1,134 African-American boys between the ages of 10 to 35 killed and shot and killed by law enforcement. This year I stand prayerful for all the men and women that sits in that jail right now, that every day they come to this building, their rights are violated. Criminal justice is real. I stand prayerful because the Bible tells me right now, on the flip side, when I pray up to him, you have to also remember that faith without works is dead. So if you don't get involved with the process, you don't get involved with what's going on in society, everybody always frowns when you talk about revolution. But guess what? We wouldn't have the Voting Rights Act if we have revolution. We wouldn't have the Civil Rights Act if we didn't have a revolution. Because what Dr. King and the SCLC and the NAACP and all the many organizations did, they tore down the political structure. Because what you know as a Republican is not was a Democrat at that time, and a Democrat is a Republican. It has totally changed. So what they did was a revolution. And now, guess what? The problem is for decades, there was a drop of a ball. There was a drop of a ball and there was a silence, because guess what? That work that Dr. King did, they silenced it and we didn't finish the fight. Because guess what? Every 10 years we have to demand the Senate and the Congress to do the right thing and actually extend the Voting Rights Act. Many people, when President Cornell Brooks stood up in her and actually risked his life and stood in that congressperson's office, you saw the reaction. We're actually in 2016 where we have to ask them to give us our equal rights. We have to realize that right now Selma is still burning live right now before us. It is not over, it is right now. This is not new. We just got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It probably happened more often, but we have to finish the fight. We have to empower each other. We have to work together. We have here in Oklahoma, we have Oklahoma City, we have a case, Charles Pettit Jr., that's about a week away from being the 1-year anniversary. Guess what? The DA wanted to make it seem like that Charles Pettit Jr. caused his own murder. And that's not the truth. And guess what? What they show you in this video is very deceptive. But guess what? The Next Generation Action Network and other committed organizations is committed to bring justice for Charles Pettit Jr. Even when it is unpopular. We will stand right at the moment. After the July 7th ambush, they told us that it was too soon to go back out there. And you know what I responded? I said it's too damn late. That's what it is. It's too late for what's going on. We stand today, right now, we're not anti-police. We're not an anti-police organization. We believe in the King nonviolence training. I was trained that way, and I commission all the members to be trained that way. But guess what? I always hear this rhetoric that says black the blue. I back the blue all the time when I pay my taxes. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice to back the blue. I have to do it every year, and guess what? It is against the law if I don't pay. It should be against the law if they don't bring justice, even if it's their own. They always say back the blue, all lives matter. Guess what? I need you to back the black right now. That's the moment right now. Back the black. A man stood right there on his knee, saying that he wasn't going to participate in a national anthem because of the unarmed black men being killed. You know the response of that? They said, I'm not going to work for the game. So basically, the result in the even trade of killing us is that you're not going to work for a game. You're not going to protect the hundreds of thousands of people that goes into that stadium that very well pay for your doggone salary. That's the problem in America. And guess what? Today, whether you black, blue, green, white, whatever it is, guess what? You have one red blood that come out when you get cut. And the inside of the body, it's blue. No matter how you put it or whatever you do, this is the issue of humanity right now. If you have a problem with Black Lives Matter, black to blue, all that, don't get caught up in that. Just say humanity matters. Right now, people matters. That's what Dr. King stood for. Dr. King didn't just march for the things that actually pertain to black people. Guess what? There are a lot of other races, even white people, that actually benefit off of a lot of the things that was doing. The All Lives Matter group went down there at the NAACP Houston thing and protested. And that guy went on Roland Martin, and Roland Martin made him look so stupid. Made him look so stupid, and realized that the facts. He realized that the NAACP had did more work that benefit white people than it actually benefited its own. And that was facts that stood on it. He didn't even know what the facts was. That's the problem. Regardless, we are people. I love you, my brother, as much as I love this brother right here. And that's what matters. Because guess what? You are a child of the supreme being up there. And guess what? When God calls me home, I want to make sure that all he says to me is, well done, my faithful servant. Amen.
Thank you, Minister Alexander. We only have one or two more speakers. I'm very grateful. It seems that we got a break from the sun for just a moment, so we're almost finished. I want to say one thing is we had some things set up and they fell through, and I want to say that the equality Let's say thank you to the Equality Network that they stand with us against injustice. We had those from the ACLU that partner with us. We thank them for all of their support and help. We have those here from We the People with Mark Lewis, who have been awesome and is leading the charge here in Tulsa. We say we stand with you and we thank you. And we have many of your board members from Black Lives Matter Oklahoma. One of the ones that was leading our cadence, we have Candace Liger. We have to say thank you to her. We have Kelly Blair. I don't know where she is. She also represents our indigenous and Native American sister and brethren. We have our sister and brethren of the Muslim communities that stand with us. We have our Latino community. The Latino Agency has sent financial support. And let me tell you something, when you have organizations that are doing this, if you don't think that your $1, $5, $10, $15 helping, because the revolution is not free. It takes money for the movement. And we are not out here trying to gain from the community, but we need to sustain our communities. So understand, if you want to be a part, we don't care if it's $1, assist the social justice organizations that represent you. We also have one of our board members, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, pastor of East 6 Christian Street Church in Oklahoma City, is going to speak. And if Mark has made it back, he will be our last speaker, and then we will close it out. I want you to know, each of you all that are here, someone said, well, we don't have the numbers that we wanted. Each of you all have value. They say every person generally brings anywhere from 1 to 50 people. Use your voice. You used it today. Continue to sound your voices. You don't have to be up here on the mic. You need to encourage your communities. Talk to your neighbors. Everyone that is here, even if you don't know them, that is your neighbor. That is your family member in the movement. They are standing with you. So we're going to have to start having the uncomfortable conversations, getting to know one another, find the commonality so that we can stand together and continue a united front. We have Reverend Jesse Jackson.
All right. Good afternoon. Tulsa, we came all the way from Oklahoma City to let you know that you do not stand by yourself. All right. We came here to let you know that when you hurt, we hurt. When you rejoice, we rejoice. Because truly, we are one. This has gone on for too long. And every time it happens, we ask, how many more?
How many more?
How many more? All of them hurt, but this one was particularly close to me because I went to seminary right here in Phillips with Joy Crutcher, the father of the deceased. This is the closest I've ever been to one of these, and I cannot even begin to imagine the agony of having your child taken from you like that and then seeing it played out like 10,000 times. Something is seriously wrong with this system. Dr. King did say that change never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. Change happens when we do this. Change happens when we raise our voices. Change happens when we begin to change the systems. We talked about a policing system that is in desperate need of reform. It's in desperate need of tearing it up and starting over again. We might as well, in some cases, take serve and protect off the side of the cars because they don't serve or protect in some areas. Many areas are much better than others, but we know that there are some communities that does not even apply. What is that? I will continue to say it, as Brother Pruitt said. This is not about being anti-police. When something happens, I need the police to come to my house and do what I call them to do. But I do not want my taxes to finance my own murder. Everybody that works with anybody, with a group of people, you know who the fools are in your office. You know who the racists are in your office. And here we are in 2016, and folks gotten to the point where nobody wants to talk about what the root problem is right now. We have a race problem in this nation that goes back to the very founding of this nation. And it is not a black problem, it's an American problem. And if the only people that ever talk about it are people of color, then it will always be perceived as a people of color problem. It is not a people of color problem, it is an American problem. And we need to begin to deal with it like it's an American problem. It is as American as cherry pie. But so this is as well. This country was founded on dissent. This country was founded on fed up. This country was founded on I've had enough. We have had enough of this. We can't take any more bloodshed. I have a son and a grandson and brothers and friends and sisters and a wife and a daughter. I don't want to see anybody bury a loved one before their time because of this kind of foolishness. Police officers are trained. They have special training to do certain things, to respond in certain ways. We are not trained in that way. And so you say to the public where they didn't react in a certain way, we don't have the kind of training that you have. We expect you to be able to get above that. We expect you to be able to de-escalate. If you don't want to de-escalate, perhaps you need to leave your gun and badge on the table. It's time to protect and serve again. It's time for good police officers to turn in bad police officers. Yes, sir. Yes. And it's time for fraternal order police to get out of the way and allow them down. Yes. It is virtually impossible to get rid of bad cops because of the contracts that they have right now. Yes. You can fire a cop, and then arbitration will bring them right back. Yes. Right? And rid of them. They can just move on to the next department and continue to do what they do. That's that's why sometimes when this goes down, then you find out that there has been a laundry list of complaints against that officer because you can't even make public the record of a dirty cop. The contracts are rotten. That's a systemic change that must be dealt with right now. We will never get any change if we can't deal with the contracts. We will never get any change if we can't get the FOP to the table. We will never get any change if they will not budge one bit. If they will not budge on this, they don't want to change.
Absolutely.
They want to continue what has gone on. But I stand here to tell you that that's enough. I don't know about you, but I've had enough. But enough bloodshed. Been enough sons buried. Been enough daughters buried. Been enough children playing with toys buried. Been enough mistakes. Been enough tasers pulled when I thought I pulled my... Come on now. I'm tired of this. We can get together and we can have a good time, but I don't want to rally for this anymore. I want it to stop. I want us to get together and do something else. But I want you to look around this crowd today, and you look at how diverse it is. Don't let anybody tell you that it was anti-white. Don't let anybody paint it as it was anti-police. Don't let anybody paint it as it was anti-anything but evil. I don't hate nothing but wrong. That's it. We don't hate anything but wrong. And we got to change.